This is a timely word for someone, and this is someone that was feeling very worried, very discouraged. Let me tell you something. All I heard was God say, they will learn. They will learn. They will learn. But let me tell you something. They're not going to learn on your timing. They're not going to learn on your timing. You know when they will learn? On God's timing. Okay? Just because you don't see any physical proof does not mean that he has not dealt with them. And it does not mean that he's not going to deal with them. Everything takes time, okay? God is very strategic. God knows what he's doing. Trust the Lord. He said his plan is to prosper you, not to harm you. He said, touch not my anointed, do my prophets no harm. And these words are serious and they are set in place, okay? They will learn, but not on your timing, on God's timing, okay? God is going to deal with them. They will learn. Let me tell you something real quick. If you guys read my book, there's a portion of my book where I said that God said something similar to me in the past. There was this particular person that was antagonizing me. And this person even brought up my child, okay? And I remember being so weary, so upset, so hurt. And I remember I used to cry over this, okay? I used to cry over this. And the Lord specifically said to me, she will learn. And I'll never forget those words. Every time I got, frustrated or weary or upset, I always remember to what God said. He said, she will learn. And every time I remembered that, I just left the pain at the Lord's feet. Okay? I left the pain at the Lord's feet. And she learned, right? So he never told me what happened, but she definitely learned. So when I mean, be patient with God, what I'm saying is God knows you're hurt. God knows you're frustrated, and God knows that you want your vindication. You want your justice. You don't want anything bad to happen to anybody. You just want to be left alone. I get it. God knows this, okay? But when God says that someone is going to learn, best believe he is going to handle them. It's just according to his timing. You have to understand something. God knows what's taking place in their life. God knows their every move. God knows the every hair on their body. So you have to understand that God knows when to step in, and God knows when to do what he does best. I also want to mention that sometimes vindication takes time. And the reason being is because I know many are not going to like what I have to say, but it's the honest truth. During the time of us going through suffering and pain and unfair treatment, right? Sometimes we tend to be unforgiving, or sometimes we may tend to be, resentful, or maybe very angry, very upset at the person. And in order for us to learn how to forgive, listen, this is important. In order for us to learn how to forgive, then there is some time that is needed between the stage of being deceived and the vindication. In between that stage, the process period, that is where we learn how to forgive, and that is where we learn how to pray for our enemies, and that is where we learn the importance of not hardening our hearts, right? And in order for us to get to that place, there has to be some time. Because if God was to step in and he was to dish consequences, and we have an unforgiven heart and we have a hardened heart, that won't be good for us, because now we're going to be mocking, we're going to be we're going to be this, we're going to be that. And that's not what God wants us to do. He wants us to operate through the fruits of the Spirit. So sometimes the vindication process takes a while, because we have to also learn how to forgive, and we have to learn how to operate through the fruits of the Spirit, even in the midst of these trials and tribulations, okay? So just be patient with him and trust him. But let me tell you something. The words they will learn Oh my goodness. Best believe that God is not a man that he shall lie. When he says they will learn, they will actually learn. Okay? I love you guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.